Hey guys, Sam here and welcome back to another FIFA 17 experiment. Today we finally have another one-off experiment for you guys. If you haven't been checking out the channel, there's a bit of an experiment series going on at the moment with the Wexford project, and we're going through the seasons. If you haven't checked it out, you can check it out if you want to. You don't have to at the same time, it's completely up to you, but today we're back with another subscriber suggestion. Now today's subscriber suggestion actually comes from a lot of people, and ever since I started doing the Versus series, you know, whether it was age or whether it was left foot versus right foot or whatever it was, I knew I was going to do height. Now, B-Monus actually did a shortest versus tallest video. If you want to check that out, you can in the description below. I'm not going to credit anyone for this idea, but there were a few people that did put it out. I can't give it to one person, however, because there was multiple comments on the same video. The video's out maybe like 2 weeks ago now, so I can't actually tell which one was first. There was like 5 or 6 people that actually commented this suggestion, and I wanted to do it anyway. It is still a subscriber suggestion in my eyes. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I still think it's your guys' suggestion. You guys want to see it, but it was also an idea that I knew I was going to do in the future as well. So pretty much what we've done is we've made teams between 5'7" and 6'6", and the reason it's those two is because 5'7" is the shortest goalkeeper in the game. I don't know how the fuck this guy's a goalkeeper in real life. It must be really difficult as a 5'7" goalkeeper. Think about Lionel Messi in goals. It just doesn't work, I don't think. And then you got 6'6", which is the tallest team that you can make where it's still a team, and even then there's not enough outfield players in the 6'6" category to make an outfield team. So there are some players above 6'6" as well that I've put in, so it's 6'6" and above, but it's only a few players to fill in the holes. And in between there is a team for every height. So there's 12 teams ranging from 5'7" to 6'6". As you could imagine, there's pros and cons to both. The short teams are going to have really terrible goalkeepers and centre backs. The tall teams are just gonna have really bad teams and a good goalkeeper pretty much. So before we get into the simulation part of today's experiment, guys, we'll take a look at the teams. We'll take a look at which of these teams have a better chance. You would assume it's somewhere in the middle. And then we'll jump into the simulation. We're doing this in the Scottish League. We're doing it in the SPL. So there's 12 teams, 12 heights, and I thought I'd mix it up a little bit because we've been doing Ireland, we've done England before. I thought, why not just do the whole British Isles? Let's go with Scotland today. If you do go in to enjoy today's video, guys, make sure you do leave a like on the video. If you're new around here, you can also subscribe and keep leaving your suggestions in the comment section below. Just because I'm doing these a little less often because of the Wexford project doesn't mean we're not doing these types of experiments anymore. So your suggestions are very, very crucial, and you guys have some fantastic suggestions, so don't stop leaving them. Keep leaving them in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's take a look at the teams that'll be competing in today's experiment. Alright, let's take a look at the teams. Before we do start talking about the teams, I'm not going to show you the bench and the reserves and talk about every single player because it would just take way too long. So I'm just going to show you a screenshot of the starting 11s. They're starting off with the 5'7" team, and you can see it's a decent team. Take a look at the outfield, but then you take a look at the centre backs and the goalkeeper. I mean, how are you a 5'7" goalkeeper? I just don't... Herrera, please tell me, what made you want to be a goalkeeper as a short kid? I don't understand. Or even now, you could still change your career path, I'm sure you could. I don't know how old you are, but Jesus Christ, a 5'7" goalkeeper, that's just useless, really. He's the only 5'7" goalkeeper in the game. He's the shortest goalkeeper in the game, and yeah, you could tell by his rating that he's also one of the worst goalkeepers in the game. Moving over to 5'8" and no better when it comes to the goalkeeper. The defensive partnership is by far a lot better. Then again, Hugo Mayo is not a centre back. He's playing in the centre back position. He's actually a right back / centre back. I think he plays more right back in real life, if I'm not mistaken. And again, I do feel sorry for especially these two teams because those goalkeepers are gonna let them down big time. Moving over to the 5'9" team at Dundee United, and the goalkeeper rating is now starting to climb a little bit. Still not good, but maybe they have a chance. They have a fantastic team. I mean, you got to take a look at the outfield. It's really good. Even the Marcelo at left back, Klein at right back. It's a very good team, but the goalkeeper, that's the problem. Moving over to the 5'10" team, and again, an upgrade on the goalkeeper rating and the centre-back partnership, and I'd say a more well-rounded team now, with a decent front three as well, and okay bit of depth on the bench. 5'11" team is pretty good. Again, an increase on the goalkeeper rating. There seems to be a trend. It seems to be the taller you are, the better goalkeeper you are. Who would have fucking guessed that? The thing that I like most about the 5'11" team, however, is the depth on the bench. Just an absolute world of talent on the bench, and just a midfield and attacking sense in general is very, very strong. The defense is pretty sturdy as well, and the goalkeeper's not the worst rated. So I think this is a team that maybe now we're starting to get into genuine contenders for this league. I think this is where the teams start to get good. Moving over to the 6-foot team, and my word, speaking of good teams, this is a fantastic team. Suarez up front with Royce and Bale on either side, Rakitic and Hamšík with Kroos behind them. A decent back four, but especially the centre-back partnership is phenomenal with Sergio Ramos and Thiago Silva, and a decent goalkeeper as well. Not the best coverage in terms of midfield, but Higuaín as the striker, as the backup striker, is absolutely fantastic. Moving over to the 6'1" team, and this is a fantastic team. And I think what separates this team from the 6-foot team really is Jan Oblak. It's a fantastic goalkeeper to have, 87 rated. Great goalkeeper to have, along with the centre-back partnership with Godin and Miranda. I think this is going to be one of the favourites. Lewandowski up front with Ronaldo on the left. Of course, you can't go wrong with Cristiano Ronaldo. I think the one thing that might fault them, if it does come to play, is the depth and also the central midfield. Xhaka and Schneiderlin, not the best two to have. Origi, not the best right winger to have. But overall, a pretty solid team, and probably so far the best team, just purely based on Jan Oblak. Going over to the 6'2" team, and you can see now it's starting to get a little bit more difficult to put players in the right positions. Like, it's not too bad though. Pepe, Chiellini and Barzagli as a back three, with Alonso in the left wing back position, Fabinho in the right wing back position. Of course, Fabinho has converted more to a defensive midfielder, but he's going to have to play that in this formation with Gomez, Busquets and Pereira as a midfield three, Aubameyang, and then Benzema up front. A good coverage for the striker position. Maybe could be a little bit better in the midfield position, but overall, I'd still say that we're still seeing teams that could challenge. Although I'd say the 6'2" team is a little bit outside of the peak. I'd say the peak is probably 6 foot or 6'1", and now we're starting to go back down that hill. Moving over to 6'3" team, and we're starting to see some low-rated players coming through. Varane, Bonucci, and Hummels make up a midfield three with Buffon in between the sticks, so a decent defensive and goalkeeper rating. Pogba in midfield, Lukaku up front. But then you got a lot of players under that 80 rating and a very strange formation as well, because finding players that'll fit these heights is not as easy as you'd think. Moving over the 6'4" team, and now we're really off that peak. I mean, we're gone. We're back to pretty terrible teams here. Granted, I think these teams will probably perform better than the ones with 56 rated goalkeepers, and it's a decent back three and goalkeeper. Again, due to the height, it's Kompany, PK, and Boateng as a back three with Neuer in between the sticks. Dzeko up front, but again, too many players under the 80 rating. There's no way these teams are going to compete with the 6 foot and the 6'1s. Moving over to the 6'5" team. And my goodness, these people are starting to get tall. It's Ibrahimovic and Bastos up front. You got Cech in between the sticks. Those wingbacks, I'm 100% certain, aren't actually wingbacks. So you're taking a look at a very shoddy team when it comes to positioning. I think the midfield three, they're not even all midfielders. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they're not. I'm pretty sure one of them's a centre back. And then again, in terms of coverage, I mean, you got 3 strikers and then a centre back. You got no midfield coverage at all. 6'5", well and truly, I think will struggle. And then finally, the 6'6" and above team. And the reason that we had to bring in some extra people, like for example, Peter Crouch, who's like 7'50", is because I just could not make a team of just 6'6". It was just impossible to do. Really, the shining light of the team is literally the goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois. So I guess we're going to take a look at, would you rather have a really strong outfield and a shit keeper, or a really shit outfield and a strong goalkeeper and a decent defense as well? So it's going to be St. Johnstone and then like Celtic and Aberdeen, where we're going to be taking a look at who actually does better. So without further ado, we're going to split this up into thirds, because we are in the Scottish Premier League and they have 33 games in their first phase. They have like 2 stages of the league. They split up the teams after 33 games into halves. I don't know, we'll get to it. I'll explain it when we get to it if you don't know what's going on. I'm sure most of you do, because most of you are from the UK. So without further ado, let's take a look at how things stack up 1/3 of the way through the season. Okay, 1/3 of the way through the season, it is the 6'1" team who currently hold the lead over the 6' team by a point, and then the 6'2" team are in third. No surprises, I would say, just absolutely no surprises there. In terms of the bottom 3, it's the 5'8" team who are currently at the bottom, not a win on the board. And I'm trying to think why they would be worse than Aberdeen, the 5'7" team. And I guess it's just that like the 5'7" team have Messi and the 5'8" team don't have Messi, because the 5'8" team is, well, actually, you know what? They both have the same rated goalkeeper. So I guess it makes a little bit of sense. Anyway, the bottom 3 from the bottom is 5'8", then 5'7", then 5'9". So you can take a look at the height. Really a massive effect on the teams. And then if you want to take a look at the really, really tall teams, 6'5", Ross County here in 9th, and then 6'6" and above are actually 8th. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure exactly where they're picking up these goals and these points from, because their best striker is Peter Crouch. Actually, no, it all makes sense now. Peter Crouch is carrying this team. 2/3 of the way through the season, and the only change in the top 3 is actually 2nd and 3rd. They flipped. So 6'1" is still in the lead, but then it's 6'2" who are in 2nd, and then 6 foot in 3rd. And when I said 6 foot, it sounded like Bigfoot to me. I don't know if it did to you. The bottom three has changed a little bit. Finally, that 6'6" and above team has dropped all the way to 10th. But the bottom 2 stay the same. 5'8". They have picked up 3 wins, which is good to see. And then 5'7" have picked up an extra win as well, and they're 4 points clear of the bottom. And at the end of the first stage of the Scottish Premiership, after all the regular season games have been played, it's no change to the top of the table, with the 6'1" team taking out the first stage. Do you get anything for this in Scotland? I have no idea. I'm sure you guys do. I'm sure the comments will let me know. But after the 6'1" team, it's the 6 foot team and then the 6'2" team who are tied on points, but actually it was the 6 foot team that had a better goal difference. So very, very tight between 6, 6'1", and 6'2". Very, very close. After those 3 teams, it's Hearts at 5'11", Partick Thistle, which is a very strange name. That's the 6'3" team. Hamilton at 5'10", who have actually rounded out the top 6 and will be moving on to the second stage. I mean, the top half of the second stage, because you have a bottom half and a top half. So really, if you took a look at this as like a graph, it's literally between 5'10" and 6'3" have all made it through, and it's like the edges are just complete shit, which makes a lot of sense, and you could probably predict that before this even started. You do not want a super tall team, you do not want a super short team, you kind of want something in the middle. It makes a lot of sense, but it just fits so perfectly. There was no one that edged in, there was no one from either side edged in between 5'10" and 6'3". Those are the 6 teams that have made it. So you could literally make a graph out of it if you wanted, if you're inclined that way. But we'll move on to the second stage. We'll take a look at the bottom half and the top half, and we'll see who comes out on top. And then we'll take a look at the top goal scorers as well. So without further ado, let's take a look at what things look like at the end of the second stage, which I'm assuming is the real league. I'm assuming this is when you win the league title, but I could be wrong. In terms of the bottom, it is the 5'8" team who have finished rock bottom on 26 points. And then it's the 6'6" and above team who have finished second last, which means the 5'7" team with a 56 rated goalkeeper and just dog shit defenders have finished, well, like, not 4th, I guess 3rd last would be the right way to say it. 5'9" team, they came in 3rd in the bottom group, and then the 6'5" team came 2nd, leaving the 6'4" team to be the best of the worst, pretty much. Moving on to the championship group. So yeah, I'm guessing this is where you win your title, if you can do it. It's the 6'1" team that's done it. I know, anticlimactic, they were winning. Ever since we took a look at the table, they've been at the top of the table, so nothing has changed at all. They've taken it by a 2-point lead over the 6'2" team, and then the 6 foot team actually dropped off a little bit. There's a 7-point gap between 1st and 3rd, but still, those 3 teams by far were the best 3 teams. Moving down, you can see the 6'3" team actually taking out 4th, which I thought was a little bit surprising. They took it over the 5'11" team, who I thought had a pretty decent team, to be fair, and then the 5'10" team coming in last, and I would guess that's because they had Nick Romando as the goalkeeper, who's 73 rated. In terms of the top goal scorers, Luis Suarez was the top goal scorer for the 6 foot team, Ronaldo in 2nd for the 6'1" team, and then Marco Reus, again another 6 foot player. You'll notice that Messi's not on the list, so the absence of Messi, the disappearance of Messi in these experiments continues. I'm guessing it's because he was playing for a shit team, but still, he couldn't score 9 goals in the season, which I just find bewildering. Ibrahimovic, despite playing for the 6'5" team, was able to pick up 13 goals. I think that's a pretty decent effort. And Andy Carroll, along with Perez and Vardy, all picked up 12 goals. So those are your top goal scorers. That is it. That is the end of today's experiment, guys. A little bit of a different one. Doing it in the Scottish Premiership might have changed the results a little bit. I mean, I don't know. It was a 2-point gap and they split it up. If you don't split those last 5 games up, maybe some of the other teams have some easier games. You have to play well against the best teams in order to be champions. And I think that's what this sort of format does, I guess. And I mean, credit to the fucking Scots. I like this. I don't mind it at all, actually. Notice that the best defensive team was the 6'1" team. However, the best offensive team was the 6 foot team. 70 goals scored throughout the season. So at the end of the day, one thing is for certain from this experiment. If you're making a team from players of just one height, do it from 6 foot to 6'2". Don't be silly. Don't make a team of 6'7" or something like that. Do something reasonable, 6 to 6'2". If you guys were in this experiment, which team would you be a part of? Personally, I think I'd probably make it into the 6'3" team, but I'd probably rather be in the 6'2" team. I'm like 6'2.5", so yeah. I don't know where they'd put me. If you did enjoy today's experiment, guys, definitely do leave a like on the video. The more support you put on this, the quicker we'll be making more of your guys' ideas. So definitely show some support on the video, and also keep leaving your suggestions in the comments section below. That's it from me, guys. I don't want to waste any more of your guys' time. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you did enjoy today's video. I hope you had a good day. I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Keep it real.